We know this. Motherhood can be both a beautiful but sometimes challenging experience.
We have Lindsay Evangeline Garcia here, a licensed therapist and mental health coach who is passionate about supporting mothers in their mental health journey. Lindsay, you say this is a topic near and dear to your heart, so you're here to tackle this with
our newest addition. My son's a month and a half years old right now. A month and a half.
That fuzzy wuzzy back of the head, I might walk out of here with your baby. Hold on tight.
I am.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. This is number 3. I have 3 boys.
Okay, 3 boys.
That's right.
So Dina was talking about her birth story and how each were so unique, even when it came to your mental health. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I absolutely feel the same. For me, on my journey, I had a hospital birth that was, you know, fairly traumatic. I definitely went through some of the postpartum depression and PTSD, really. And then I had another home birth, which was a little bit, you know, of a breakthrough. And then this last birth was just blissful, another home birth. And I know part of that is because I was so prepared for my postpartum time. And I had a lot of tools and people to help support me in that.
When I had my first baby, I had some trauma in the hospital with him being sick. And it changed everything about my motherhood experience as a new time mom. I had postpartum anxiety pretty bad for 6 months. And I felt very mad about that. I felt gypped of this birth experience that I wanted to have. There is a lot of trauma that can surround it.
Yes.
Do you think we're not talking about it enough?
Yes, I do think we're not talking about it enough. And I think some of what you're describing is PTSD as well. Like we think of military when we think PTSD, but really it's a consequence of the birth trauma that's happening. And what I want to say to that is that a lot of moms internalize things that maybe if they could have done something different or if it was their fault in some way, where I really feel like there's some systematic things that need to change to better support moms.
Do you recommend sharing your birth story? You say if you do so, make sure it's a safe space.
Yes, I definitely recommend sharing it, but with that, like the caveat of a safe space. So obviously therapists are trained to hold space, which really means not projecting onto the person who's telling you the story, right? So a lot of times we hear somebody tell a traumatic birth story and then people will say, at least you're okay, at least baby's okay, right? And that's kind of a form of, you know, like gaslighting. It just doesn't help. So sharing it in a spot that's going to be received for you to just let it all out is so important.
And if you do have some of that postpartum depression or anxiety, that mental state, we have to find a way to calm that nervous system, that wave of anxiety that runs through you. How do you begin to get that under control or work through it?
Right. So there's something called psychosomatic practices, which are basically like mind and body practices. So this is really calming the nervous system. Think of things like breath work, yoga, dance. I mean, it's very individual because it's whatever brings that person back into their body. Because there's something called limbic imprinting, which is where our body's really remembering the memories, not just in our minds, not just in our psyches.
You also say you need to cultivate a community.
Yes.
How do you do, because sometimes you just feel so isolated. You don't after baby. You don't know how to do that.
Yes. This is huge. A lot of people are talking about, like, where's our village? You know, we all live in these separate little box homes, and mothers are really lacking the village. So one thing I want to give as a piece of advice for that is it's going to take vulnerability. It's going to take letting people come in and see your dirty dishes and your kids fighting and the dirty toilets, whatever it is, right? But it's allowing people to come and help you as well. And then asking. You know, it can be very hard for people to ask.
And why is that so hard? We think, well, I have to clean everything before I can have guests over, but I don't have time to clean everything.
Impossible.
And even when you do have help, like I have my parents who help me and watch the boys if I'm at work, but there still are moments that are that deep isolation and deep loneliness. And I'm still out doing things, but you can't help but feel that when there's a little helpless creature relying solely on you.
Yes, yes. And I feel like that, what you just described, is so common with so many women. And so I think the more we can talk about it and the more we can just show up in an authentic way and say, this is where I'm at and please come over, you know, that can just really be a great start.
You're all about changing the narrative of motherhood is hard.
Yes.
And saying what instead?
So instead, there are ways we can upgrade our thoughts. For instance, you can just add in a couple sentences of like, I keep telling myself motherhood is so hard. I keep thinking motherhood is so hard. And what that does, it just makes a little bit of space between you and the thought, where you're able to witness the thought instead of take it on as a true fact, that it's just hard and that's just what it is.
Oh, I feel like we also talked about that recently, not believing the negative thoughts, taking a minute to question it.
Yes.
I like that, because then you're not living it, it's just a thought that can pass and move forward. Where can people reach you if they need some help, they want to work with you or listen to your podcast?
Yeah, on my website, it's www.lindsayevangelinegarcia.com, and I have a podcast, Holistic Mentality, and my Instagram is Hey Lindsay Garcia.
That might be the best baby I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He went
We're
down just in time.
Chatting and he's snoozing. Thank you so much.